The most important thing that we're saying is that we're willing to lay everything down on the line, again, to put the truth out there, to show other ministries, other ministers, that this is never okay. If you have a situation where there's
Daystar Television Network, co-founded by Marcus Lamb and his wife, Joni Lamb, has grown into one of the largest Christian TV networks in the world. Launched in 1997, Daystar has reached over 2 billion homes globally, making it one of the most influential platforms for evangelical content. The network's programming spans a broad array of religious services, talk shows, and faith-based entertainment, with its flagship show, Joni Table Talk, a major part of Daystar's branding. Hosted by Joni Lamb, Joni Table Talk has garnered attention for its frank discussions on contemporary issues through a Christian lens, often covering topics that are considered taboo in many conservative circles. While Daystar's success story is impressive, it has not been without its share of controversies. Over the years, the Lamb family's personal dramas have often spilled into the public eye, creating a complex and, at times, destructive blend of faith, power struggles, and family feuds. The most recent scandal, which has captured widespread attention, involves a bitter power struggle within the Lamb family, following the death of Marcus Lamb in 2021 and allegations involving the mistreatment of Jonathan Lamb's young daughter. The rise of Daystar and the Lamb family. Legacy. Marcus Lamb was the driving force behind the creation and growth of Daystar. His vision was to create a media platform that would bring Christian values and teachings to a global audience. Under his leadership, Daystar rapidly expanded, securing a place in millions of homes around the world. Together with his wife Joni, Marcus built the network into a household name among evangelicals. Their programming was not only religious but also aspirational, reaching families who sought a connection with their faith while navigating the complexities of modern life. The Lambs became household names, admired for their business acumen and dedication to spreading the gospel. Joni Lamb's contributions to the network, however, extended beyond just her administrative leadership. As a co-founder, she became the face of Daystar, a charismatic leader who hosted numerous programs, produced content, and spearheaded the network's charitable initiatives. Her personal brand grew rapidly through Joni Table Talk, a talk show that tackled both lighthearted and serious issues, often delving into faith, family, and societal challenges. With a distinct blend of humor, compassion, and religious conviction, Joni became a voice for conservative Christian values, garnering a loyal following of viewers who tuned in for her candid commentary on contemporary issues. However, the Lamb family's public image would be tested time and again. Beneath the glitz and glamour of Daystar's success, the family was facing internal struggles, some of which have only come to light in recent years. The tragedy of Marcus Lamb's passing. The death of Marcus Lamb in November 2021 from complications related to COVID-19 was a turning point for Daystar and the Lamb family. The sudden passing of the charismatic founder left a leadership void at Daystar, one that was felt immediately across the Christian media landscape. For many, Marcus was not only the face of the network but also its spiritual leader, and his death left his wife, Joni, with the heavy responsibility of taking over as president of the network. At the time of Marcus's death, his son, Jonathan Lamb, was serving as vice president of Daystar. Jonathan had long been expected to succeed his father as the leader of the network. His rise to power seemed almost inevitable, given his role in Daystar's operations and the public perception that Marcus had groomed him to take over the family business. However, with Marcus's sudden death, the succession plan was abruptly altered, and Joni assumed the mantle of leadership. This shift would set the stage for a bitter conflict between mother and son, one that would expose deep fractures within the Lamb family and the inner workings of Daystar. Jonathan Lamb's dismay and public allegations. The tension between Jonathan and Joni came to a head in 2023. Jonathan, who had been working closely with his father for years and had expected to take over as the president of Daystar, was suddenly sidelined. Joni's decision to take over Daystar instead of promoting Jonathan to the top role led to feelings of betrayal and anger within Jonathan. This was compounded by the fact that Jonathan's leadership position had been reduced when he was demoted from vice president in April 2023 after he reportedly refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA. Jonathan's refusal to sign the NDA and his subsequent demotion created a storm of controversy. According to reports, the situation only worsened when Jonathan received an ultimatum from the network's representatives. The audio of this conversation, released to the media by investigative reporter Julie Ross, reveals a tense exchange between Jonathan and a Daystar representative, who warned that if Jonathan didn't sign the document, he would be removed from the board and his role as vice president. Jonathan, standing his ground, refused to comply, leading to his termination from the network. The fallout from Jonathan's dismissal was swift and intense. He and his wife, Susie, went public with their allegations, claiming that the true reason for their strained relationship with Daystar and their eventual ousting was not performance-related, but rather linked to a more personal and deeply troubling issue: the mistreatment of their young daughter by a family member within the Daystar organization. The shocking allegations of child mistreatment. The revelation that Jonathan and Susie Lamb's young daughter had been mistreated by a family member rocked Daystar to its core. According to Jonathan and Susie, the mistreatment began years earlier when their daughter made a vague disclosure about being hurt by a man she described only by certain physical characteristics. Over time, the couple began to suspect that a man named Pete, a family member who worked for Daystar, was the one who had mistreated their child. The situation escalated in 2021 when Jonathan and Susie alleged that Pete followed their daughter upstairs while she was changing to swim at a beach house Daystar had rented for its executive retreat. Jonathan reportedly ran into the room and found Pete with their daughter, who was allegedly naked. The couple's accusations were damning, as Jonathan described Pete's behavior as bizarre, even claiming that his eyes went black, as if in a trance-like state. In the aftermath of the incident, Jonathan and Susie reported the event to the authorities, but the family's response was deeply troubling. According to the couple, Joni Lamb attempted to mitigate the situation, even requesting a private meeting with their granddaughter. This meeting, however, resulted in the young girl allegedly refusing to speak about the incident any further. The Lambs' suspicion grew when they later learned that the case had been closed by police due to the child's silence, but it was later reopened. Despite the severity of the allegations, Jonathan and Susie claimed that their concerns were dismissed by Joni and Marcus Lamb, who allegedly believed Pete's innocence, even clapping when Joni declared that she had received a divine revelation affirming his innocence. The situation became increasingly strained when Jonathan and his wife realized that their calls for justice were being ignored, and the family's attempts to protect Pete appeared to take precedence over the safety and well-being of their daughter. The battle for leadership and family control. Amid these allegations, a deepening power struggle began to emerge between Jonathan and his mother, Joni. The situation was complicated by the fact that Jonathan had long been considered the heir apparent to Marcus Lamb's leadership of Daystar. Jonathan's frustration with his demotion and the rejection of his succession became intertwined with his accusations about the mishandling of his daughter's mistreatment claims. Joni responded to these challenges by framing the situation as a conflict over leadership and personal ambitions. In a video released after Jonathan and Susie's public allegations, Joni Lamb claimed that the accusations were part of a smear campaign aimed at undermining her leadership and preventing Jonathan from assuming the role of president. She accused her son of attempting to blackmail her into giving him control of Daystar by threatening to go public with the mistreatment allegations unless he was appointed president. Legal and media responses. As the media began to report on the controversy, the Lamb family found themselves caught in a whirlwind of public scrutiny. Joni Lamb's statements about the allegations, calling them baseless and politically motivated, did little to quell the growing storm. Meanwhile, Jonathan and Susie continued to stand by their claims, stating that they had no choice but to expose the truth to protect their daughter and to honor their commitment to justice. The legal battle surrounding the allegations remains ongoing, with Jonathan and Susie taking steps to seek justice through legal channels. The police investigation into the mistreatment claims is still open, and the family continues to navigate a complex web of legal, personal, and professional challenges. The public feud between Jonathan and Joni Lamb has raised significant questions about the future of Daystar and the Lamb family's legacy. Many wonder whether the network, which was built on faith and family values, will survive this latest scandal. Echoes of the past, a legacy of scandals. The current turmoil surrounding Daystar is eerily reminiscent of a scandal that rocked the network in 2010. At that time, Marcus Lamb admitted to a 7-year affair with a Daystar employee, Jeanette Hawkins, which was exposed during a fraud lawsuit. The scandal was particularly damaging for the network, as it exposed cracks in the Lamb's carefully crafted public image. The affair and subsequent cover-up caused widespread embarrassment for Daystar, leading to legal battles and public apologies. Despite this, the Lambs managed to regain some public support by framing the affair as a product of human weakness and divine redemption. Daystar Television Network, a family-run Christian broadcasting empire. Daystar Television Network is one of the largest Christian broadcasting networks in the world. Founded in 1997 by Marcus Lamb and his wife Joni Lamb, Daystar started as a small television station, broadcasting Christian teachings and faith-based content. Over the years, through relentless efforts, visionary leadership, and divine purpose, Daystar has grown into a global media empire. The network now reaches over 2 billion homes worldwide, across all major cable carriers and satellite systems. Daystar's programs are available in over 6 billion homes, making it the fastest-growing faith-based television network worldwide. Joni Lamb, alongside her late husband Marcus, worked tirelessly to establish Daystar as a beacon of Christian faith and broadcasting excellence. She has worn many hats throughout her career: executive producer, author, talk show host, singer, and advocate for faith. Through her program Joni Table Talk, Joni tackles real-world problems by discussing contemporary issues through the lens of Christian values. Her bold voice and commitment to spreading the gospel message have garnered numerous accolades, including several Telly Awards, Lone Star Emmy Awards, and Daytime Emmy nominations. Joni Lamb's commitment to sharing the truth of the gospel has helped her form a strong connection with her audience, creating a community centered around faith and compassion. However, despite the numerous achievements and recognition, the Lamb family has faced an increasing number of controversies in recent years. These controversies have cast a shadow over the network and led to strained relationships within the family, shaking the foundation of Daystar and its future. The termination of Jonathan Lamb, a controversial decision. The latest controversy surrounding Daystar revolves around the termination of Jonathan Lamb's employment. Jonathan, the son of Marcus and Joni, had served as the vice president of Daystar, working closely alongside his parents to manage and expand the network. However, after a series of events that led to a growing rift between him and the leadership of the network, Jonathan was terminated from his position in April 2024. The decision to terminate Jonathan's employment did not come lightly. It followed a 15-month review of his performance, during which there were concerns raised about his judgment and professional conduct. The termination came as a shock to many, especially considering the pivotal role Jonathan had played in the network's operations for years. This decision deepened the divide between Jonathan and his mother, Joni, who had already been at odds over various family and leadership matters. The announcement of Jonathan's termination sparked a firestorm of controversy, both within the Lamb family and among Daystar viewers. Critics accused Joni Lamb of wielding undue power and influence over the network, claiming that her actions were motivated by personal grievances and a desire to maintain control over the organization. Some observers speculated that the tension between mother and son was rooted in a bitter power struggle over the future of Daystar, and who would succeed Marcus Lamb as the president of the network. As if this wasn't enough drama, Jonathan's termination was followed by a series of shocking revelations that have further fueled the public's curiosity and concern over the future of Daystar. A family secret. Exposed. The allegations of mistreatment. In a surprising and unexpected turn of events, Jonathan and his wife, Susie Lamb, decided to publicly reveal a deeply personal and disturbing family secret. The couple disclosed that their young daughter had been mistreated by a family member, referred to only as Pete, and that the issue had been mishandled by the family and the network. According to Jonathan and Susie, the mistreatment first came to light several years ago, when their daughter began to show signs of fear and distress around certain family members. The couple initially did not know who the perpetrator was, but after some time they began to suspect Pete, a family member who had access to their home and had spent time alone with their children. The situation escalated when, in August 2021, Jonathan and Susie attended Daystar's annual executive retreat at a rented beach house. The retreat, which was intended to be a professional gathering for the network's leadership team, turned into a nightmare when Pete allegedly followed their 5-year-old daughter upstairs while she was changing to go swimming. Jonathan's suspicions quickly turned into a confrontation when he entered the room and found Pete alone with his daughter, who was reportedly naked at the time. Jonathan screamed at Pete, demanding to know what he was doing in the room with his daughter, and Pete, visibly shaken, repeatedly apologized for his actions. The incident was a traumatic experience for Jonathan and Susie, who were horrified by what had transpired. This marked the beginning of a tense and complex family dispute that would unfold in the public eye over the following months. A strained relationship. The breakdown of trust. The incident involving Pete and their daughter was not the only source of tension between Jonathan and his mother, Joni. According to Jonathan, after the disturbing event at the retreat, he and Susie tried to bring the matter to the attention of Marcus and Joni Lamb, hoping that they would take swift and decisive action to protect their granddaughter and address the situation. However, Jonathan claims that his parents, particularly Joni, were more concerned with protecting the reputation of the network and the family rather than addressing the allegations seriously. Joni, upon learning of the mistreatment, allegedly asked to meet privately with the granddaughter, but the child stopped talking about the incident after that meeting. The lack of transparency and the perceived mishandling of the situation only further eroded Jonathan's trust in his parents and the leadership of Daystar. The situation reached a boiling point when Jonathan and Susie made the decision to go to the police. Despite their efforts to handle the matter discreetly, the police investigation eventually stalled, primarily because their daughter was too traumatized to provide enough detail to press charges. Nevertheless, the authorities eventually reopened the case, and it is currently under investigation by the Colleyville Police Department in Texas. In response to the growing controversy, Daystar issued a public statement claiming that the matter had been thoroughly investigated and that no wrongdoing had been found. The network's internal investigation reportedly concluded that the allegations were unsubstantiated and Pete was deemed innocent of any misconduct. This official response, however, did little to calm the storm. Jonathan and Susie were now facing not only a personal family conflict, but also a public battle over the truth and their right to seek justice for their daughter. The succession controversy and Jonathan's disappointment. At the heart of the dispute between Jonathan and his mother lies a larger question about the future of Daystar Television Network and who would succeed Marcus Lamb as president. Jonathan has long believed that he was the natural successor to his father's leadership role. Marcus, according to Jonathan, had made it clear that he intended for his son to take over the reins of the network upon his death. However, after Marcus's passing in 2021, due to complications from COVID-19, Joni Lamb took over as president of Daystar, much to Jonathan's disappointment. In the wake of his father's death, Jonathan had hoped to step into a position of greater responsibility, but Joni's ascension to the presidency shattered his expectations. Jonathan alleges that Marcus's email to the family, written just before his death, outlined a different succession plan, one in which Joni would assume leadership of the network. This, Jonathan claims, was a direct response to the allegations about mistreatment and his growing dissatisfaction with the situation at Daystar. According to Jonathan, this decision to bypass him was a punishment for speaking out against Pete and seeking justice for his daughter. His frustration over being sidelined in favor of his mother only deepened after his termination from Daystar, leading to accusations that his removal was not just about professional performance, but also about family politics and a broader power struggle. Joni Lamb's defense and the public backlash. In a video message posted to social media, Joni Lamb defended the decision to terminate Jonathan and dismissed the allegations against the family as part of a smear campaign. She claimed that Jonathan had refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, related to internal matters at Daystar, which was the primary reason behind his dismissal. Joni also criticized Jonathan's refusal to improve his performance at the network and claimed that he had been attempting to manipulate the situation to position himself as the next president of Daystar. Joni's comments sparked a backlash from those who believed that the network's leadership was covering up serious issues and that the Lamb family was more interested in protecting their empire than seeking justice for a young child. Many of Daystar's viewers who had previously admired the network for its faith-based programming were now questioning the integrity of the organization and its leadership. In contrast, Jonathan and Susie have doubled down on their accusations, stating that they had no choice but to go public with their story. They expressed concern for their safety, revealing that they were living in an undisclosed location due to fears for their well-being. The couple's decision to speak out has been seen by some as a courageous stand for justice, while others view it as an attack on the Lamb family's reputation and legacy. What lies ahead for Daystar Television Network? The controversy surrounding Jonathan and Joni Lamb has raised serious questions about the future of Daystar Television Network. With the Lamb family now deeply divided and facing public scrutiny, many are wondering whether the network will be able to weather this storm and continue its global outreach. The issue of leadership succession remains unresolved, and the allegations of mistreatment have left a dark cloud over the family's reputation. As the investigation into the mistreatment claims continues, the public will be watching closely to see how the Lamb family handles the fallout from this scandal. Will Daystar be able to restore its credibility and heal the wounds that have been exposed? Only time will tell, but for now, the Lamb family's legacy is marred by scandal, division, and questions about the future of Daystar Television Network.